Hello and a very good morning to all News 9 viewers. I'm Neha Bhan. Let's take a look at some of the top national and international stories of this hour. We begin with more than 40 workers find themselves trapped within the partially collapsed Silkyara tunnel located in the Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. Now the collapse occurred on the 12th of November. Today is the 8th day and the workers continue to be trapped. The rescue efforts have faced a setback as a US-made auger machine employed to drill and insert pipes for resolving the issue experienced a malfunction, temporarily halting the rescue process. On Friday at approximately 2:45 p.m., while positioning the fifth pipe, a loud cracking sound emanated from the tunnel. In response to this, the NHIDCL released a statement late on Friday night announcing the suspension of the rescue operation. The Silkyara tunnel, spanning 4,531 meters, is an integral part of the Char Dham project, initiated by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Now, its purpose is to connect the Gangotri and Yamunotri axes beneath the Reddy Pass area. Rescue teams already have begun the operation to insert a 6-inch diameter pipe inside the tunnel earlier today, as the 8th day of the rescue efforts kicked in. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami will also conduct an on-site inspection of the ongoing relief and rescue work in the Silkyara tunnel located on the Uttarkashi Yamunotri road today. Along with the Chief Minister, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari is also expected to arrive to take stock of the relief and rescue work. Auger machines were used for laying horizontal pipes without digging trenches. These machines, initially utilized, failed to achieve the desired outcome, and that's when the American auger was brought from Delhi. The new machine was expected to reach, the new machine was expected to help in the rescue work. Now, the rescue operation is difficult due to the condition of the soil. The soil at the mishap site is loose and boring is to be carried out with extreme care to prevent collapse. 40 laborers are trapped inside. They are safe as of now. They are being provided with food packets. They're being, provided oxygen. A pressure pipe of 4-inch diameter is inserted to supply dry fruits to the trapped workers, even though they did complain of nausea and vomiting. Oxygen is also being pumped through empty pipes meant for the water supply.
नंबर 922 है।
और इस मशीन से क्या काम होगा?
यहाँ पे पाइप रोप के लिए आया है।
पहाड़ के ऊपर से?
नहीं, अंदर से।
अंदर से
जी।
अंदर वाली जो 25 मीटर पाइप डली पड़ी है उसको और आगे बढ़ाने के लिए?
नहीं तो? ये शुरू होगा पहले से, ये उसका ऊपर से ही पाइप रोप होगा और ये सिर्फ मलबा रुकने के लिए।
अच्छा, टनल के अंदर इस मशीन के जरिए पाइप को ड्रिल करोगे या मलबा रुकेगा?
पाइप ड्रिल करके अंदर ही जाएगा। अच्छा। उसके बाद ग्राउंडिंग होगा। ग्राउंडिंग होने के बाद ये मलबा रुकेगा। लेंदी प्रोसेस है।
अच्छा।
वो तो अपना बंदालों को निकालने के लिए लगा हुआ है मशीन, ये टनल को सेव करने के लिए। आज तो नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि अंदर रेस्क्यू काम चल रहा है, वो खत्म होने के बाद शायद होगा।
कहाँ से ये मशीन आई है?
बेसिक कुड़ियाला, ऋषिकेश। जी, ऋषिकेश
से मशीन आई है।
ट्रैक बनाने के लिए काम दिया है, जो ट्रैक से ताकि हम ऊपर से वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग कर सके। तो अभी मेरे पास जो मिशन है, मुझे ऊपर से ट्रैक बनाना है। हमें 300 अराउंड 320 मीटर्स का ट्रैक बनाना है और जिससे हमारी ड्रिलिंग मशीन जो ड्रिलिंग रिग है उसको हम ऊपर पहुंचा सकें। हमारा टारगेट है कि हमें कल सुबह 9 बजे तक इसको कंप्लीट करना है। हम कोशिश पूरी करेंगे कि हम जो स्तर पे काम उस हिसाब से कर रहे हैं कि हम उसको एटलीस्ट अंजाम दे सकें। इस तरह मेरी खुद की कंपनी है, हम अराउंड 150 लोग हैं।
और फिर कितने पेड़ इसमें काटे जाएंगे?
पेड़ काटेंगे, अभी हमने ऐसा आकलन नहीं किया कि हमें पेड़ कितने काटने हैं। हम कोशिश करेंगे कि हमारी ट्रैक जिस एंगल पे हमें चाहिए वो हम बनाएं, अगर बीच में आएंगे तो हम काटेंगे।
On Saturday, the officials prepared to drill a vertical hole from the top of the hill in order to rescue the trapped workers. Today is the 8th day. More than 40 workers are finding themselves trapped within the partially collapsed Silkyara tunnel that is located in the Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami will also be visiting the site today. He will be conducting an on-site inspection of the ongoing relief and rescue work. Along with him, there will be Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, who will also be there to take stock of the situation.
या मैपिंग की है?
The rescue operation to save 40 trapped workers continues for the 8th day today. There are several rescue teams who are currently at the spot. They are trying to insert the 6-inch diameter pipe inside of the 4-inch diameter through which the supply of food and supplements will be maintained. A top official from the Prime Minister's office also visited the Uttarkashi tunnel to take stock of the relief operation at the under construction Silkyara tunnel.
अल्टरनेट प्लान के बारे में जो मेरी जानकारी में है यही है कि भाई अभी जो हॉरिजॉन्टली हम लोग अंदर ट्राई कर रहे थे, जिसमें कि कई बार हम कुछ सफल भी हो रहे थे, कहीं पे रुक भी जा रहे थे, तो इस पे ये डिसीजन लिया गया कि भाई कुछ दूसरे ऑप्शन की तलाश किए जाए। एक ही ऑप्शन के भरोसे नाराज है, तो इसमें ये हुआ कि हॉरिजॉन्टल के अलावा कुछ वर्टिकल ओपनिंग्स भी दी जाए इनको रेस्क्यू करने के लिए। उसमें एक ओपनिंग ये सिलक्यारा जो टनल के ठीक ऊपर इन्होंने जिस स्पॉट को इनके सर्वेयरों ने आइडेंटिफाई या मार्क किया हुआ है वो लिया हुआ है, और वहां से बोरिंग करके एक प्रयास एक होल किया जाएगा नीचे के लिए, जहां से कि वहां तक पहुंचा जाए।
Now, there is a temple that has been built at the main entrance of the tunnel, and prayers were being offered at the temple where the rescue operation to bring out the stranded victims. The rescue workers are currently underway. Right on your screens, visuals of the same. New temples have been set up. These local deities are being pleased. This is an attempt by the locals there, offering prayers to the, offering prayers at the temple, hoping the safe evacuation of these 40 workers who have been trapped from 8 days. These workers have been complaining of nausea, vomiting. They've been saying they're not feeling well. Respiratory issues are plenty. There is food that is being given to them. Oxygen is being supplied. But still, there are several health crises that these trapped workers are staring at. Now, Delhi's air quality has seen an improvement from severe to very poor, with the AQI levels on Sunday coming down to 330. The improved air quality has prompted the government to lower the pollution alert level, and the Commission of Air Quality Management has revoked the stage 4 GRAP measures in Delhi. With this, all schools in Delhi will be opening on the 20th of November. However, outdoor sports activities and morning assemblies will not be held for the next 1 week. With the GRAP 4 measures being scrapped, diesel trucks have been allowed to enter in the national capital. Fortunately, Delhi's air quality has seen a slight improvement. It is now in the very poor category from severe. The AQI levels on Sunday have come down to 330. However, there are several parts in the national capital region which continue to report bad air quality. In fact, the AQI levels in these places, the AQI levels are close to 400. In Madrid, approximately 170,000 people marched against Spain's amnesty law, a concession made by Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. This is done to secure a 4-year term with the support of Catalan and Basque nationalist parties. Protesters waving Spanish flags and carrying signs reading Sánchez traitor and don't sell Spain voiced concerns about the law's impact on the rule of law and separation of powers. Opposition leaders also joined the rally organized by civil groups, and afterward, clashes between protesters and riot police ensued. Sánchez has defended the law, citing its potential to ease tensions in Catalonia despite public opposition. Take a look.
¡Viva España! Tu miedo y tu ira, porque es libertad, sin ira, libertad. De la cámara. Ay. ¡Viva España!
With Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressing concerns about the misuse of artificial intelligence, the government has decided to take the matter even more seriously. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav informed that the government is planning to hold a meeting with social media companies to discuss about the measures which can be taken to address the deepfake menace. Vaishnav stated that the safe harbor immunity provided to the social media platforms could be scrapped if platforms do not act decisively against deepfakes. Notices were issued, and while platforms have responded, the minister emphasized the need for more aggressive measures. A meeting with major platforms like Meta and Google is imminent, and Vaishnav clarified that Safe Harbor won't protect platforms if they do not swiftly combat deepfakes. The concern arises from recent viral deepfake videos targeting actors Rashmika Mandanna and Kajol, prompting public outrage and calls for preventive actions. Government coming down heavily on deepfakes. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off the misuse of artificial intelligence, IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has now informed that the government is planning to hold a meeting with the social media companies to discuss about the measures that can be taken to tackle this menace. The artificial intelligence revolution is here and is impacting all aspects of our lives. From Hollywood celebrities figuring out how to live with bots to a chat with virtual celebrities. Our next report brings you the week's big stories from the artificial intelligence revolution.
From actors making peace with bots to why Google wants you to talk to a virtual version of Billie Eilish. This is Generation AI. The Hollywood actor strike came to an end, with AI among the last issues to be hammered out. Union chief negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland hailed the deal.
And for the first time, consent, informed consent, and fair compensation guardrails will be in place around the use of artificial intelligence in our industry.
Among other measures, studios will now have to get an actor's consent before using their image to create a digital replica. NVIDIA has upgraded its flagship AI chip. It's called the H200 and will roll out next year to customers, including Amazon. NVIDIA already dominates the market for AI chips, and its new model will allow services such as ChatGPT to spit out answers even faster. Reuters sources say Google is in talks to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in character AI. The fast-growing chatbot startup allows people to talk with virtual versions of anime characters and celebrities like Billie Eilish. Most of its traffic is coming from users between the ages of 18 and 24, according to data from SimilarWeb. Facebook parent Meta says advertisers will soon have to disclose when AI has been used to alter or create messages related to politics. They'll have to say if the ads portray real people as doing or saying something they didn't. The new rules kick in next year. And ChatGPT creator OpenAI says it wants to work with other organizations to produce datasets to train AI models. It's looking for deals to access material that expresses human intentions in any language. The aim is to produce more nuanced training data that's more conversational in style.
Now, Germany intends to raise its military assistance to Ukraine from 4 to 8 billion euros next year. This move would surpass NATO's 2% military spending target for the first time. Take a look at this report.
Instead of 4 billion euros, Germany intends to spend 8 billion euros on military support for Ukraine next year. Defence Minister Boris Pistorius announced the doubling on the weekend, just days before the German parliament passes the national budget for 2024. Despite the world's focus on the Israel-Hamas war, he said Russia's war in Ukraine must not be forgotten.
We don't want to find ourselves in a situation next year where we have to go back and ask for more money. So it's an important signal, especially now that the Ukrainians have to keep up their fight while much of the world's attention is being directed towards Israel. It's also a strong signal to Ukraine that we won't abandon them.
Budget negotiations have been more intense than in previous years, with a sluggish economy and multiple crises requiring tight planning. But alarm bells rang in Berlin after the Russian parliament approved a 68% increase in Moscow's defence spending. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Germany has become one of Ukraine's biggest military supporters. The material sent includes tanks, armoured personnel carriers, as well as air defence and missile systems. Some in parliament hope the plans will send a message to other allies of Ukraine. We are doing a lot. We've done a lot. And of course, our European partners are also called upon to continue and increase their commitment. We have to do this if Ukraine is to succeed. The fact that we are doing even more is also an important signal to our European friends. The increase in military support the governing coalition has now agreed on would make up 2.1% of Germany's GDP and meet NATO's military spending target. Lawmakers still have to sign off on plans to massively expand support to Ukraine, but given the coalition's majority, this is considered a formality.
Now, war-torn Ukraine has started building underground schools in the Kharkiv region, which will allow children to return to in-person learning. This, while the region faces the constant threat of Russian airstrikes.
Ukraine's Kharkiv region has started building underground schools. The heavily fortified structures will allow children to return to in-person learning, while the region faces the constant threat of Russian airstrikes. Schools in the eastern region, which borders Russia, had to resort to online learning after the February 2022 invasion. Kharkiv is frequently targeted by Russian missiles, drones and artillery. The governor reported on Thursday that in 24 hours, 3 different districts had been struck. The chief district architect, Anton Korotovsky, said 2 schools are currently under construction.
Вони можуть витримувати пряме влучання ракет С-300. Також розраховані десь на 500 чоловік кожна. Також вони будуть обладнані.
The structures could withstand direct hits from S-300 missiles. They are designed to accommodate up to 500 people each. They will also be adapted to be accessible for people with physical disabilities. There will be restrooms, independent power sources, diesel generators, water supply, sewage, and everything required for the education process.
He added that more of these schools, which act as bomb shelters, will be planned by the end of the year. The buildings will be equipped with necessities like ventilation, water and beds, so people can stay there for more than one day. Ukrainians are now bracing for another winter of possible Russian airstrikes targeting critical infrastructure. Last year, this caused widespread blackouts across the country.
Now, millions of Russian families are having to cut back due to the significant changes forced on Russia's economy by the war in Ukraine and the myriad sanctions imposed by the West. Take a look.
In grocery stores across Russia, prices have been soaring. Families are having to cut back as they grapple with high inflation caused by the war in Ukraine and a myriad of sanctions imposed by the West. Mother of 2, Daria Stepanova, is among them.
One of my kids is 5. Another one is a newborn. And I can see how much everything has become more expensive in the course of these 5 years. Pampers are 2 to 3 times more expensive now. Baby food is now 4 times more expensive.
She's trying to make ends meet on the 50,000 rubles, about $550 a month, that her husband earns. The ruble has fallen against the US dollar since the war began in February 2022, making the price of imported goods climb. And all this comes ahead of the 2024 election, where Vladimir Putin is expected to run again, in a move that would keep him in power until at least 2030. Official statistics show that over 15 million Russians are living below the poverty line. Russian economist Igor Lipitz says the situation is even worse than what the Kremlin reports. He estimates about 20 million people could be in or on the verge of poverty.
The indirect indicator of the situation with the income is the level of high debt ratio that is always discussed again if you take statistics of the Bank of Russia. It's all seen there, how many Russians have 2 or 3 loans, how many families spend not only 50% but around 80% of their monthly income. There are Russian regions where people have to give away 105% of their monthly income. 105. This is what real people's incomes are and how deep in poverty the Russian population lives. Russians are in deep trouble.
Some economists think the ruble could fall even further after the election.
Now, Finland has started erecting barriers at 4 of the 9 border crossings with Russia in a bid to stop the inflow of illegal immigrants. Finland administration says the rising flow of migrants has been orchestrated by Moscow in revenge for Finland's defense cooperation with the United States.
Finland will erect barriers at 4 of its 9 border crossings with Russia from midnight on Friday. It wants to stem an increase in migrants that Helsinki says have been orchestrated by Moscow in revenge for Finland's defense cooperation with the United States. Here's Finland's Interior Minister, Mari Rantanen, speaking on Thursday.
It's clear that Russian authorities have facilitated people in crossing the border from Russia to Finland. It's possible that this form of illegal entry that we are now experiencing could grow and intensify quickly and significantly. It's already putting a strain on Finnish authorities.
Helsinki angered Moscow when it joined the NATO military alliance in April, after decades of non-alignment following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Kremlin denies Finland's accusations, with the TASS, a news agency, reporting spokesman Dmitry Peskov had said the country was making a big mistake by choosing a path of confrontation. Also speaking on Thursday, Finnish Foreign Minister Elina Valtonen.
Finland's eastern border is also the external border of the Schengen area, the European Union, and of NATO. Finland is well prepared to counter any type of hybrid operations together with our partners and allies. We hope the pressure will ease soon, and we can reopen the border crossings, which are essential for many families, diplomats, and the transfer of necessary goods. Thank you.
According to the border guard, some 300 asylum seekers, mostly from Iraq, Yemen, Somalia and Syria, arrived in Finland this week. According to officials, nearly 100 had entered the country from Russia by midday on Friday alone. But from Saturday, asylum seekers arriving via Russia will only be allowed to hand in their applications at 2 northern border crossings. Finland shares an 830-mile border with Russia that also serves as an EU external border.
Now, hundreds of workers at Starbucks are on a strike to demand an improvement in staffing and schedules at the workplace. They even walked off their jobs during a key promotional event to stress upon their demands. Take a look at this package to know more.
Workers at this New York Starbucks store and hundreds of other locations walked off their jobs during a key promotional event on Thursday. They demanded improved staffing and schedules, the Workers' United Union said on social media platform X. The walkout came on the coffee chain's Red Cup Day event, during which Starbucks hands out free red-colored reusable holiday-themed cups to customers on their coffee purchases. Edwin Palma Solis is a Starbucks barista trainer.
We want to make sure that we have a better pay, staffing, scheduling, and we have the right amount of hours to work because they've been improperly staffing us. And sometimes it just makes it harder for us to work. You know, sometimes we feel like we work for 2 people instead of 1, and we're just tired. We're just really tired of overworking ourselves.
Starbucks said on Thursday its stores in the United States were open, adding that a few dozen stores were on strike. Red Cup Day has typically been a major driver of store traffic, with data from analytics company Placer.ai showing that visits to U.S. Starbucks stores on the same day last year jumped 94% over the daily average for the full year. Workers United, which represents more than 9,000 Starbucks employees at about 360 U.S. stores, has said the event was one of the most infamously hard, understaffed days, as drink orders pile up and employees end up on the receiving end of abuse from frustrated customers over long wait times. Earlier this month, Starbucks said it would raise hourly pay for its U.S. retail workers by at least 3% starting in 2024, which employees criticize, calling it tone-deaf, given Starbucks' 11% increase in fourth quarter revenue and the recent wage hikes won by auto workers.
The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
Now, the war between Israel and Hamas has entered the 44th day. There is no end to the fighting in sight. Israel is now looking to expand its operations into southern Gaza, while a deal to release the hostages still seems far away. Let's take a look at the top developments from the war front right on your screens. Now, more than 12,000 Palestinians have been killed in the war, as per the Gaza Health Ministry. This includes close to 5,000 children who have been killed. 1.5 million Palestinians have been displaced inside Gaza. United States President Joe Biden has urged the international community to help manage the security of the Gaza Strip for an interim period after the war, to be followed eventually by Palestinian Authority governance. Benjamin Netanyahu, meanwhile, has said no ceasefire deal yet to bring Israeli hostages home. Protesters across Israel to pressurize government to bring back hostages. The World Health Organization officials say that Al-Shifa is now a death zone. after finding mass grave at hospital entrance. The 7th of October attack on southern Israel by Hamas left the whole world in shock with the sheer brutality and horrific nature of the incident. Jamal Waraki, an Arab Muslim volunteer paramedic, was one of the first to arrive at Kibbutz Be'eri in southern Israel after the Hamas attack. Close to 2 months now, he is still shaken to recall the brutality of what he witnessed.
Jamal Waraki, an Arab Muslim volunteer paramedic, was one of the first to arrive at Kibbutz Be'eri in southern Israel after the Hamas attack on October 7. He witnessed the killing of civilians in the kibbutz, which bore the brunt of the slaughter. Over a month later, he's still shaken to recall the brutality of what he saw.
That has nothing to do with Islam. Our religion, as a proud Arabic Muslim Israeli guy, I'm saying that has nothing to do with our religion.
Israeli officials say at least 1,300 people were killed, mostly civilians. The surviving residents were evacuated, and Israel launched a retaliatory bombardment and ground offensive against Hamas in Gaza that has killed more than 11,500 people.
When we first got into the kibbutz, the first one was Be'eri. I never thought that it could be a real thing. I thought in a while I thought that I'm dreaming, or I'm being in a kind of a film zone or such a thing. So I saw everything destroyed, a lot of houses burned, people who were slaughtered and killed in their houses, and afterwards the house will be lit on fire. When you see such a thing, you just think about you just start imagining what happens in there. How did they react? Who got killed first, the kids or the parents?
Waraki says Hamas did not spare Muslim in the attack. He recalls tending to 2 Arab women in hijab and 3 Arab bus drivers from East Jerusalem, all shot by the assailants. Reuters couldn't verify his account.
That means that they're not doing this for the country or for religion, they're just doing this for the hatred.
Waraki is still hopeful that Jews, Arabs, Christians and Muslims can learn to live together in Israel. There is no other way ahead, he says.
Of course, we need to live to each other. It's not a question, it's a need to. I think Israel learned today how to die together. Now it's time to learn how to live together. That's what I believe. Listen, Jews, Arabs, Christians, Muslims, we are all the same. Israel is a big whole body, and every one of us is one part of this body. If one of these parts is missing, the body won't be doing his job as it's supposed to. So I think that we have to take care of this, and we have to stop hatreds and start living together.
Now, reports indicate a surge in anti-Jewish sentiments on Chinese online platforms, with individuals expressing support for both Hamas and Adolf Hitler while posting derogatory comments against Israel. Notably, despite China's typically stringent internet censorship, these offensive remarks are largely remaining unchecked. Take a look.
At this press conference in Europe, there is grief and anguish for Chinese Israeli women kidnapped in the October 7th Hamas terror attack. But in China, an interview by Noah Argamani's mother met with hateful responses online. The most liked comment said, "I don't want to pay attention to her." Even more anti-Semitic attacks have flooded China's strictly censored internet since the Israel-Hamas war erupted. On Weibo, a microblogging platform like X, some nationalist influencers with millions of followers compared Israel's bombing on Gaza to the Holocaust in World War II. Some comments praised the late German dictator Adolf Hitler and his persecution of Jews. And on a map widely used in China, only the city Jerusalem has been labeled. The country name Israel has disappeared. The Israeli embassy temporarily closed its comment section over abusive posts, and its diplomat publicly expressed disappointment. Chinese censors wipe out online content not approved by the government. Yet, anti-Semitic comments related to the October 7 terror attacks by Hamas have lingered for weeks.
Switching our focus now, Iceland is preparing for a likely volcanic eruption amid growing underground lava flows and intensifying seismic activity. The country is on an alert after a number of earthquakes hit the island nation, leading to giant cracks ripping through the ground. Take a look.
Steam rising from giant cracks that have ripped through Grindavik, Iceland, could be seen from a Coast Guard helicopter on Friday. The country is preparing for what experts believe is a likely volcanic eruption on the Reykjanes Peninsula, amid growing underground lava flows and intensifying seismic activity.
From midnight to about 8 o'clock this morning, there were, I think, 600 new earthquakes. So the outlook is rather bleak, in my opinion.
Geophysicist Ari Trausti Gudmundsson says the probability of an eruption is high.
People now wait in anxiety what is going to happen to the town. If the eruption really occurs, it could spare the town to a large extent. It could also, the lava flow, simply bury the town. So we don't know really which scenario is the most likely one.
Aerial views of the nearby Blue Lagoon, one of Iceland's most famous tourist attractions, showed the geothermal spa completely deserted. Authorities have evacuated nearly 4,000 people from the area and were preparing to construct a large dike designed to divert lava flows around a geothermal power plant that provides hot water to the entire peninsula.
Check the news. I've been expecting it to start.
Evacuees wanting to go back into town to pick up belongings on Thursday had to queue at a roadblock before they were either driven into Grindavik in emergency vehicles or accompanied by emergency personnel.
It's like sitting in a very boring movie, but you're stuck there. You can't get out of it. It's unreal. It's hard to digest.
Other residents also said the waiting for the eruption was the worst part.
My house is okay, but it's on the red area, so it has collapsed. The earth has collapsed about 1 meter or something. We don't know if we're going to have a home or what, because if it doesn't erupt, we don't know anything.
Well, the Narendra Modi Cricket Stadium in Ahmedabad is all set to host the final of the 2023 Cricket World Cup. Hosts India are taking on 5-time champion Australia in the final. The Indian team, led by Rohit Sharma, has till now had an undefeated run at the World Cup and will be looking to extend the run to clinch their third World Cup title. The match will be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and also by Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles. Fans have gathered outside the stadium from last night itself as the craze for cricket continues. Listen in to what the fans had to say about the high-octane clash.
I think it's almost like a revenge for 2003. So we were kids when I watched that match. So it was really disappointing to see India lose at that time. So this time, much better team, much better performance, and a much better mindset. I think we can't ask more because they already won 10 out of 10. I think they should give the cup now only. They have beaten all the teams in the round robin, so India deserves it. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, every time to go and win there, but they've been playing really well, and we are all proud of them. And irrespective of the result, we all should be proud of them.
ऑब्वियसली इंडिया में है तो ज़्यादा बेनिफिट टीम इंडिया के लिए है, बट कहीं ना कहीं ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने भी बहुत अच्छा कमबैक किया. पहले 2 मैचेस हारने के बाद जिस तरीके से कमबैक किया उन्होंने, मैक्सवेल का वो एक पारी जो जहाँ पे अफगानिस्तान का वो टर्निंग पॉइंट था, फिर उसके बाद साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ जो सेमीफाइनल था, कहीं ना कहीं दोनों टीमें बहुत अच्छी हैं. लेकिन जो एक बेनिफिट साइड है कि इंडिया हमेशा से एक टीम की तरह खेला है और ऑस्ट्रेलिया हमेशा एक प्लेयर के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है, कोई ना कोई एक दिन चल जाता है. बट होपफुली आज अहमदाबाद में मैच है तो पिच ज़्यादा पेसर्स को मदद करेगा. बट वहीं पे हमारे पास शुभमन गिल है खेलने के लिए, और रोहित शर्मा का बेहतरीन जो स्टार्ट देता है अपनी टीम के लिए वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा मतलब अप्रिशिएटेबल है. बट स्टिल ऑब्वियसली लेकिन इतना इजी नहीं था जिस तरीके से आपने बोला कि इंडिया बहुत इजी जीता. नहीं, 40 ओवर तक ऐसा लग रहा था कि न्यूजीलैंड बहुत अच्छा मतलब आसानी से 300 रन चेस कर लेगी. बट समवेयर जैसे ही 2-3 विकेट मिले हमें 40 ओवर के बाद, जैसे ही मोहम्मद शमी और जडेजा जिस तरीके से कैच पकड़ रहे थे और शमी की जो 7 विकेटें थी, कहीं ना कहीं वो चीज़ें बहुत मदद की. और मैं एक चीज़ हमेशा बोलूँगा कि गेम हमेशा 11 प्लेयर्स खेलते हैं और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के पास वो इस वर्ल्ड कप में नहीं दिखा. बट कहीं ना कहीं ये बोला जाता है कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया जब वर्ल्ड कप के फाइनल में आई है, वर्ल्ड कप लेके गई है, तो कहीं ना कहीं हमारी निगाहें हैं 2003 का बदला लेने का और 2015 सेमीफाइनल का बदला लेने का. ये बहुत अच्छा दिन है और होपफुली शाम तक जवाब मिल ही जाएगा. जो खेलेगा अच्छा वो जीत जाएगा.
एक्साइटेड तो हम सारे बहुत हैं. इंडिया वर्सेस ऑस्ट्रेलिया फाइनल है तो उम्मीद तो ये लगा रखी कि इंडिया जीते. अब देखो अब क्या होता है. टीम तो सभी अच्छी खेल रही है हमारी, तो सर फिर भी अगर हम अब पर्सनल व्यू लेना चाहे मेरा, तो मैं विराट कोहली बोलूँगा. विराट कोहली, रोहित शर्मा एंड शमी.
इंडिया की स्ट्रॉन्ग टीम लग रही है. अभी जीती है ग्रुप स्टेज के सारे मैच की. सेमीफाइनल में भी न्यूजीलैंड को हरा दिया. शमी, रोहित, कोहली, इनको कोई नहीं रोक सकता.
Now taking a look at some of the election-related stories, the Bharatiya Janata Party unveiled its manifesto for the 2023 Telangana Assembly election, outlining 25 significant promises. Among these commitments were the elimination of the 4% reservation for Muslims in the state, the proposal for a BCCM, backward classes chief minister, the provision of 4 free gas cylinders, measures to elevate the impact of high petrol and diesel prices, and the establishment of a non-resident Indian ministry aimed at assisting Telangana residents in other countries. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister and BJP leader, declared the party's resolve to designate the next Chief Minister of Telangana from the backward class. This decision, he explained, was made to ensure social justice for the backward classes and to empower their aspirations. Here is a list of some other key promises made by the BJP. The party has pledged to eliminate 4% Muslim reservation, emphasizing increase in BC and SC/ST quotas. Beneficiaries of the Ujjwala Yojana promised 4 free gas cylinders annually per year. Now, their implementation of the Uniform Civil Code within 6 months. Fixed deposit of 2 lakh for the birth of a girl child and loans at a 1% interest of women self-help groups. Hyderabad Liberation Day and Razakar Vibhishikha Smriti Divas to be officially celebrated. Zero tolerance against corruption. BJP commits to reducing petrol and diesel prices by cutting VAT. Financial assistance of 2,500 per acre for farmers and benefits under PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Free laptops for those pursuing degree or professional courses. Employment for 2.5 million youth in the next 5 years. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a blessed day ahead. This is me, Neha, signing off.